Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is Greenleaf Season 3, Episode 7, and the name of this episode was That Was Then. Well, the name of the episode is That Was Then. This was a really good episode, and man, there is going to be some serious calamities that are going to happen, post this episode, because you can just tell in this episode things are starting to crumble down in the Greenleaf family in more ways than one. So let me begin. First, I'm gonna talk about Grace. We see that Grace is, when we first see Grace, she's on her laptop looking at the crime scene photos from what's the name of her? What's the name of the lady? Cora Lee. The Cora Lee case, the woman who killed her husband with a hammer. She's looking at the case, and then in one of the photos she sees a broken bottle top, and it made her have a flashback to when her and Uncle Mac were fighting, and she took the bottle top and she pretty much jabbed him in the neck with it. So here it is, she's getting involved in this case, but it's making her relive everything that she went through with Uncle Mac. And we actually see that she actually goes to the prison to actually talk to her. And while she's there, she runs into the DA, who pretty much took off the manslaughter charge off of her case. And the DA was letting her know that I don't think you should want to touch this, because here it is, this woman, killed her husband in cold blood, and there's no evidence of abuse. There's no evidence of, there's no log of it. So, from the way it looks, she just literally cold-bloodedly killed her husband. And do you really think this is a case you need to be involved with? After all, manslaughter was on the table for you, but but because of me, I got it removed. And he was saying that certain cases that I made that come across me, some of them, because it has a personal connection, I don't do those cases because of my personal connection. And she's kind of putting the fact that due to the fact that you were in a domestic situation that turned deadly, here it is, you're putting yourself into a situation where you're dealing with the same thing. And he let her know that you may come to realize that the pool you're trying to swim in is more deeper than you think. So we see that she goes to meet with old girl, Cora Lee. And Cora Lee is just as emotionless and is just as cold as she want to be. She pretty much was like, I don't know why you're here. I don't believe in God. And she pretty much said that, he's hit me with that hammer a few times, and that he would use the kids and said that he would abuse them to get me to do whatever he wanted me to do. Like, I was being abused, and, and when I had my opportunity, I killed him. Simple as that, because eventually he was gonna kill me. And then, like, pretty much her time was up, and then while she was leaving, Grace had told her that I'll be back to see you, and she was like, yeah, whatever, okay. Just cold and just had no passion. But then when Grace came back to see her the second time, you can definitely see that there was a change in her. And I think it's because Grace is intrinsically a good person, and she has the power of God working through her. Because as I said many times before, true Christians, because it will be in their aura. It'll be written in their essence. Someone who has to claim that they're a Christian 25 times, why do you need to claim it when yet the Spirit of the Lord, people know the Spirit of God when they see it? Even a person who ain't never been to church, they know the Lord. When you're in the presence of the Lord, because your whole demeanor will change. Your whole aura will change. And we see after her meeting with Cora Lee the second time around, her whole aura was different. She was more receptive. And she was like, well, why are you here? She says, I'm here to bail you out. The question is Cora Lee actually innocent? And, is this not another setup that can be that's probably being concocted? Because she heard this information from Darius. And, you know, Rochelle was like, well, hey, whatever you want to do, that's what we're going to do. The question is Grace being set up? So, in time, we're going to find that out. So, here it is. It's Zora's 18th birthday. You know, Lady May is excited, and she's created like a little birthday, you know, brunch for her because she has to be in bed by 7 because she's on punishment. So she didn't get like a late party like when Sophia got her Sweet 16. You know, Zora, you know, is getting a birthday brunch and her parents are coming over and everything. Then we see that the bishop goes to see Charity and let her know about Zora's birthday, and that you know, and she was saying that, you know, it's kind of a, and he pretty much tries to invite her to Zora's birthday and saying that you've been on lockdown for a long time and, you know, you need to, you know, get out and get you some air and, you know, be around the family. And, you know, that daggone Charity is so full of herself. She had a nerve talking about some, that girl Zora, she just need to get herself together. And the bishop was like, and so do you. And then she just flips us like, when you moving out anyway? I'm like, Charity, you ain't too grown to get a backslap, honey, because that was just out of line. You know, and she's still sitting around drinking and feeling sorry for herself because she's hit rock bottom and she doesn't know what to do. And the bishop pretty much sits with her and saying that, look, I just want you to be okay, honey. You know, and he was like, I miss you. And she's like, I miss me too. You know, because, I mean, this is a true representation that depression is real. And depression is not something that you should take lightly. Because this girl is completely falling apart and got a nerve to talk about Zora. Well, boo-boo, you ain't no better off than Zora. Because here it is, you at rock bottom too. So at the little 18th birthday party, you know, yeah, 18th birthday breakfast, I would call it, or birthday brunch. Carissa gives Zora a birthday present, and it's 2 tickets to go see Hamilton. And she says that me and you can go together as like a mother and daughter date. And Lady May was like, "Oh, when's the show?" She was like, "Well, it's actually tomorrow night." And she was like, "Oh no, well Zora won't be able to make it because Zora's on punishment." And then Carissa's like, "Well, we can kind of bend the rules this time. I mean, after all, it's her birthday." And I kind of agree with Carissa. It's the girl's birthday. Let her have her fun, and then she can go back to prison afterwards. You know. But Jacob, you know, she looking at Jacob. Jacob, what do you say about this? And Lady May was like, "Well, the thing is, discipline of a child is very important, and you have to let the child know that you mean business, and you just can't give that up on a whim for a Broadway show." And Jacob sided with his mama, like, "Look, mama's right, you know, she's on punishment, she can't go. Sorry, Zora." And I'm looking at this, I'm like, you punk. That, I know that's your mother, but you're her father. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you could have been like, okay, let her go to the concert, let her have a good time with her mother because it's her birthday. You could have bent the rules this time to let her have fun, but then put her back on punishment the next day. But, you know, this really upset Zora. In a way, I kind of felt some kind of way because I'm like, May, how you gonna overstep her own mother? Her mother was saying that we can go together as a mother and daughter date. And, you know, she hasn't really been interacting with her mom. And maybe her having this mother and daughter time may have been very beneficial to Zora. But yeah, that definitely made Carissa mad because the fact that Jacob just sided with his mom and was like, well, you ain't going, Zora, sorry. And I'm looking like, you are so spoiled. You are so spoiled and entitled that it's sickening, Jacob. And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to more of it because definitely this blows up between him and Carissa. And it definitely leads to other things too. So then we see at the church, Lady May is trying to put together her Lady Day event. We see that Corinne and what was her? I think let me find her. Hold on. Oh, well, I think her name was Gloria. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry for the pause, y'all. But we see that Lady May is trying to put together this Lady Day event. She got Corinne working along with Gloria, who's Maxine Patterson's assistant, because Maxine is going to be preaching at the Lady Day event along with her. So pretty much she's saying that, I'm going to actually reach out to Grace and see if she can, help with getting the word out and all of that stuff. And, we see that the two of them are going back and forth and everything. And, it gets to the point where it gets to the point where things is just crazy. And we see that Grace, Lady May goes to talk to Grace about her helping with outreach. And she's like, look, I can't focus on that right now. I'm actually focused on, this Coralie case. And she was like, oh, you mean the murderess? She's like, accused, but we don't know whether she's doing it or not. But, we just started this new fund, and I want to help represent her. I want to help get her representation. And she was saying that, so, and she's pretty much, oh, so you're putting all of your energy on this Coralie person, and she ain't even a member of the church? Really? Is that what you're doing now? You and this Rochelle thing? She says, look, me and Rochelle, we're working on something together, but it's all about us trying to actually help people, who have been falsely accused, to get justice, and not just me wasting my time trying to build up this glorified pep rally. And I was like, Grace, you better read her behind, because this is exactly what this is. This whole Lady Day is a whole plot that she's creating to take the church away from the bishop. And we knew that from the last episode. She changes everything. And we're just giving shoulder with it too. Everything. Just filling her puss. And Grace is not here for it. And she's saying that, oh, so that's what you're doing? You working with this Rochelle to get back at me? She's like, look, me and Rochelle are working for a reason. And she was like, yeah, you're working for a reason. Satanism and spite. And Grace was like, oh, wow, Mom, you know me so well. And she was like, yeah, and you don't know me at all. I'm like, see, this is an example, why in the world are you listening to your mother, Jacob, when she doesn't even respect her own daughter? Come on, your family is the most dysfunctional family around. What Zora really needed was some scared straight situation or something of that caliber. Or take her to a homeless shelter. Something of that caliber to get her to straighten up and fly right. Not send her over to Grandma's house when Grandma got more stuff in her closet than anybody else. You literally took her from where she was, put her up in the mansion to deal with her grandmother, and her grandmother got a whole bunch of crap going on. And it goes to show that, really? You want to sit here and you want to take your side of your mother, when yet, when it comes down to her being a mother, she definitely ain't getting Mother of the Year. I mean, because one of her daughters she can't stand. One of her daughters, end up getting raped, and she never did anything about it, and the daughter committed suicide. She got another one that's mentally disturbed upstairs, and when it came time for her to, when it came time for Charity to share her truth with her, she pretty much attacked her and attacked Iyanla, and pretty much was more like, ain't nobody coming for me today. Really? And you think your mother's great? And the only reason why you think that is because you're her favorite. You're her prince. You have been spoiled, and you have been coddled, and you have been, and you have been, you've been coddled and you've been brainwashed. Well, no, I'm sorry. You have been coddled and you have been spoiled, and you just think your mother is the end of everything when your mother really ain't right most of the time. So I just had to go on that. So then we see that the bishop gets a call from Percy, his boy that works at the funeral home, and he was like, man, you need to call me on my cell phone. You up in here calling me on the regular phone. I'm up here disguising my voice as if like I'm talking to a white person. I'm like, Percy's a mess. But I don't trust Percy at all, because Percy was the one that put him on to go into Rochelle. And I'm trying to figure out what is Percy's angle in this situation. Because we see later on, Percy ends up calling Charity to come down to the funeral home to perform for the family, because his great-grandmother had just passed away. And, he was saying that, look, I don't have anybody to perform, and I really need someone who I really need a singer to come here to actually help this family during their time of grieving. And at first she didn't want to, but then he pretty much says that, look, I'm going to have to call your daddy, because she was actually surprised he called him, like, daddy's friend? Why are you calling me? And she ends up going to the funeral, and she ends up singing, and then they have a conversation where she's like, I think her singing actually, I think, is what she needed, because we definitely saw Charity glow a little bit, and she is kind of getting back into her realm. And they start talking about, feeling down and feeling, overwhelmed with things, and how do you go through it. And he's pretty much saying that, yeah, I got to deal with death and deal with, grieving families and all of that all the time. And she was like, well, how do you deal with it? He says, I drink. And I'm like, is this going to be a little thing where he's going to be somewhat, supporting, Charity becoming an alcoholic? Because we already know Charity drinking. I mean, she had a big bottle of wine sitting next to her when he called her. So the thing is he also a part of the takedown of the Greenleaf family? So really, I don't trust Percy as far as I can throw him. And Percy was also still advising him that, yeah, you need to definitely do this cryptocurrency with Miss Cross. Yeah, and pretty much we see that afterwards he actually goes to Lady May and talks about it, and she pretty much said that, look, you're just as in this as much as me, because your name on all the returns that we did as far as the IRS, so you're implicated in this. But then he says, I know a way out of it. Cryptocurrency, we can make a lot of money, and we can just take care of this in a matter of, and we can take care of it just like that. And she was pretty much saying that, so where you get this from Rochelle? And she was like, well, yeah, and she means well. And she's saying that, so you mean to tell me I'm going to take advice from some strumpet who's done nothing but cause problems with our family ever since she came? And she was like, you are so naive and so blinded by this woman. You completely overlooked the fact that she can't be trusted. You have completely blinded yourself to everything she does. And yet she could be doing exactly what's going to destroy this family altogether. And pretty much she's like, look, I need your support on this. We need to invest the money. She's like, you ain't getting a dime from me. And far as I'm concerned, all of these beds that you have made, you need to lie in them, and you're not going to do it with my money. And walked up out of there. So then we actually see that Jacob and Carissa get into this heated argument after he sided with Lady May about Zora not going to the concert, which I thought was real cruddy, because I'm like, bruh, this is her birthday. Let her go to the concert. Or go to see Hamilton. But he sided with his mother. So they going back and forth, and she was saying that, you know what, your pridefulness is the reason why things are so screwed up between us. Like, why would you sit up here and let your mother stop Zora from going to Hamilton with me? Why would you do that? He was saying that, look, Zora needs discipline, and my mother is doing the right thing. I trust her. She knows what she's doing. And Carissa threw it out there like, well, if she knew what she was doing, why did it take me 20 years to get you to straighten up and fly right? I was like, you better get him, Carissa. And that just broke him. And I'm like, yeah, it broke you because she was telling you the truth. Because when we first met you, you was screwing the daggone church secretary during church service. Seriously, bruh? And I'm like, yeah, it's messed up she brought it up like that, but she got him, she got him on the, but she told him the truth. Like, dude, you're not perfect, and neither is your mother. I mean, one of the children committed suicide. The other one, was almost raped. And not only that, she hates her because Grace has the gift, and she's jealous of Grace in so many ways. Like, she's jealous of the fact that Grace has this natural, ability to preach and to minister to the people, and people confide in her, probably more so than they do her, and she don't like that crap. And then on top of it, you got your son who's spoiled and can't keep his pants zipped up, and I'm gonna get to that too. And then you got one who's completely just emotionally destroyed, and you got one who's just emotionally disturbed, and you don't even care. And even Charity even said that my mother doesn't care about me. She cares about what other people are gonna think, So your mother ain't perfect. But because you're the favorite, you just side with everything your mother said, not even realizing that it could be to Zora's own detriment. And I'm gonna get to that too. So we see that after that goes down, we actually see that that Lady May meets up, with Corinne or whatever, and they decide that the venue that they were gonna have it, they need to move it to a bigger venue because Maxine Patterson is known to draw big crowds. So they decide, let's do it on Calvary on that day. But then Corinne was like, that's the Bishop's Jubilee on that day. And she's like, and she was like, well, okay. And she's like, well, I'll try to talk to him about it, but he's dead set on that date, and you just can't come in and just change that date. And Lady May had the nerve to kind of throw it at Corinne, like, well, things are gonna be changing around here, and I will hope that you don't end up on the wrong side. I'm like, really, Lady May? So you gonna threaten Corinne's job because she's doing her job? The bishop is the head of the church, but she's acting as if it's already hers, and you need to be doing what I say and don't worry about the bishop. But she says you need to talk to him about that, but it could possibly be done. But then he gets word of it, and we see that Lady May and the bishop have a conversation, and she was saying that, look, because of Maxine Patterson coming, there's going to be a bigger crowd, and we need a bigger venue. And she says, well, won't you ask Maxine to help pay for a bigger venue? And she's like, look, your Silver Jubilee can be moved to a different day, but the Lady May Day is happening, and you just need to just step aside and let me do what I need to do. You've always had the church for everything. You mean to tell me I can't get to church for my special day? And he was like, okay, well, I can make this happen. I'll give you the church for your Lady Day, and after that, you'll be gone. And she was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna do my Lady Day, and I will go wherever the Lord will lead me. I'm like, see, the two of them are being rivals is just crazy. Then we get one of the shockers of this episode. Jacob is in his office at Triumph with Tasha. Tasha notices that something's bothering him, so she says, talk to me or whatever. And he starts saying, like, doesn't it bother you when someone that you love constantly wants to treat you like the old person you used to be instead of embracing the person that you are now? And she was like, oh yeah, I know all about that. I mean, shoot, you thought I was always holy? Shoot, I used to try to get my swerve on the weekends and then be drunk as a skunk up in church on Sunday, and people be thinking I'm praying, but really I'm sleeping. I've been through all of that. And he was like, yeah. And it's like, I'm just getting sick and tired, you know, of here it is. Here it is, Carissa forgave me, but yet she keeps bringing it back up. I'm like, first of all, why did you bring her name up? And why the hell are you talking about your wife to another woman? So you're in direct violation right then and there. And then all of a sudden she's like, it's gonna be okay, give me a hug. She goes and hugs him and definitely holds him for way too long. And then the next thing you know, they locked eyes. She kisses him, and the next thing you know, he kisses her right back. And so they, from the looks of it, they got it in. And here it is, Jacob, you know, we see Jacob stops on his way home. He stops in the middle of the road to wipe his face, you know, wipe lipstick off his face, and he definitely smells her scent on him. So yeah, they got it in up in the church, up in his office. How holy is that? And even got to the point that even the guy who was driving behind him was like beaming his horn, like, dude, get on. And then he comes home and takes a shower, and you know, here it is, he's back to the same old crap that he was on in season 1. So then we see that the bishop meets up with Rochelle, gives her this check and says that, look, I'm putting this in your hands and I trust you. This is all that I have, you know, as far as my family. You know, I'm trusting you with this. And then we also have a scene where Darius is talking to Grace, and he was saying, and she was saying that, you know, I'm kind of feeling some way about this whole Coralie case because, you know, I keep thinking about Mac or whatever. And she was saying, well, you know, you have nothing to worry about because you're innocent, right? I mean, you are innocent. And then they kind of play back to the point where he was saying, call an ambulance. She says, I'm not calling anybody till you tell me where my daughter is. So she pretty much let him bleed out. So it was manslaughter. And then she's like, yeah. Because at first she wasn't saying anything. He kept saying, you're innocent, right? You're innocent, right? And I'm like, and I don't trust Darius either. So I'm thinking Darius also is trying to trap her up too. Okay, so then we get a scene where, you know, Gloria and Corinne confront Lady May and tell her that, look, we need to secure, you know, the food for the banquet, and they need a deposit right now. And she was like, well, why so early? But hey, I can take care of it. You know, I'll just go into my account and see what I can just pay for it. So she goes to pull up her account, and she is stopped because she probably notices that there's no money in that account. And Gloria's like, we need the money or they're going to back out. And she's like, Gloria, I said I'll deal with it. So, so then afterwards we see that Jacob goes home and he showers because he done did the unthinkable up in his office. He goes to Carissa and he's like, you know, I thought about it and I thought about what you were saying. We need to bring Zora home. And she's all happy and, you know, they forgive each other. But yet you see this look of guilt on his face because here it is. He's done backslidden and did the thing that she forgave him for. And yet she was right. You still in your crap. So then we see that Lady May confronts the bishop. She comes to find out. She comes to say, like, you mean... She's like, you actually cleaned out our shared account? And he's like, well, it'll be full in 2 weeks' time. And she pretty much tells him, I want you out of this house. And he's like, well, I was leaving tomorrow anyway. I'm going to go stay with her. She's like, no, I want you to leave tonight. I want you to take every tie, every purple robe, every handkerchief, every cufflink. I want it all out of here. And I'm like, see, the bishop is as messy as a mess too. Because, like, first of all, she already told you no, but yet you going to take her money and put it in there anyway. I'm like, because he really believes that he's going to get all these millions from doing this. And little do you know, you done literally put your money in the hands of the devil. And it's about to go crazy. Then we get a scene with Sophia, and Sophia definitely has been going through it, because earlier in the episode she tells her mother, can you tell grandma that I don't want to preach at the Little Saints anymore, and they can probably find somebody else. I'm just not feeling it no more. Then the next time we see her, she in the bathroom, she's crying, and she's ripping out pages of the Bible and throwing it in the toilet. And Sophia's like, oh, and Grace came in and like, excuse me, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And she says that the Bible is filled with all lies. And she was like, this was a special Bible your grandfather gave you. Why are you acting like this? And she was just saying that, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like, I just want God to go away and leave me alone. And why would he do this to me? And she's just still emotionally broken. And I'm like, as I said, she needs some counseling. And she really needs, it's going to be a process for her, because her going through that, she's not going to just bounce back from that. But she's going to need some serious help. You know, I mean, to tell you the truth, this whole family needs Iyanla, you know, fix my life, you know, immediately, because all of them are falling apart. So then, oh yeah, then we actually see that Jacob and Carissa, you know, they they're getting Bunky ready for school, and you know, here it is. You know, they're saying that, you know, it's just not the same without Zora being here, because Zora always kept him fly and always kept Bunky looking clean, you know. And then Carissa's like, why don't we just start having a game night where we can spend with the whole family to show that we love and support Zora? And he hugs her, but then you can still see that look of guilt on his face, because he's known he's done the unthinkable, done the thing that she has forgiven him time and time again, and yet here it is, you done did the same exact thing that she was, you did the same exact thing that the reason why she was such a mean person in season 1. You literally did the exact thing that made her that way. So then we get a scene with Zora and Lady May. Zora is like packing up clothes and stuff like that. Lady May's thinking, oh, what, you don't know what you want to wear? And she's like, I want to ask you something. How would you like to take over for Sophia and teach the Little Saints? She was like, oh no, not for me, Grams. And she's like, excuse me? She's like, but I think by you working with these children will give you a sense of value for yourself, and it will help you be the best you can be. She's like, look, Grandma, I don't want to do it, okay? And even if I did, I couldn't, you know. And you know, they go back and forth and everything, and she's like, well, what's going on? You know, why don't you want to do it? You know, why wouldn't you want to try to be your best self? I was young like you were, but I'm saying the best time to make things happen is now. And she's like, I'm 18 now, so I'm leaving. And she's like, you leaving? When? She's like, and when did this started? And when is this supposed to take place? She was like, in about 10 minutes. And homegirl had like this shirt on that was showing her cleavage. Oh, she 18. She's ready to bust all out at the seams and let the world see what she got. She took that suitcase and walked off. I was like, that girl ain't gonna be happy till that boy kill her, because we see, you know, in the preview for next week, you know, he goes there to pick her up and he on the phone filming them, you know, wilding out and everything. And I'm like, Zora, you are literally walking in the hands of danger, and you so full of it and smelling your own behind because you 18, you don't even know that this may be to your detriment. So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you can get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social networks. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And now I'll be back with the next episode of Greenleaf. I can't wait to see what's going to happen next, y'all. I mean, season 3 is awesome. So until next time, everybody, take care.